So this is the unique story of how a rescue cat named Marbles changed my life, but it's also her obituary, so you better listen respectfully. Let me explain. It was back in 2018 and I'd just started my dream job living and working remotely. I knew it was going to be a lonely few years ahead. My family was in another country, my friends weren't near, and I was kind of just working in the middle of nowhere. I drove past a rescue shelter on a Saturday that was having a clearance special, $20 for a cat. I noticed that all the cute kittens were gone, and when I returned the following day there were only 2 cats left, Marbles and another one. So I went up to both cats' cages, and Marbles barely even looked at me. She wandered over to her food bowl and then slowly walked over to the cage and rubbed against my finger. The other cat, however, was super friendly and ran straight up. So of course I was like, okay, I'll take that one. However, the lady at the RSP centre said, oh, that one doesn't really use its litter box. So I grabbed my second choice, Marbles. What a decision that was. After a couple of weeks together and realising what a personality this cat was, I asked them, how did she end up in the shelter? And they told me she'd been separated from her family while moving interstate. However, the time between her being reported missing and her ending up in the RSPCA's care was over a year, which leaves a lot of unanswered questions. What was she doing? I really hoped she'd tell me one day, but she insisted on taking that secret with her to the grave. Her first few hours with me were in the back of my camper van. Eventually she learnt to accept it and even embrace it, to the point where after a few months, that was her happy place. She'd sit upright and be enamoured with the world passing around her. She really learnt to love it. We travelled all over together, camping up and down the east coast of Australia, and she even ended up becoming a low-key celebrity cat, becoming a fur ambassador for the RSPCA to help encourage others to adopt, not shop. Life is filled with highs and lows, and I'm not shy to admit that during that time, working away and remote, I had some pretty low lows where my mental health was not in a good state. I can confidently say that just simply having Marbles there for me as a true companion in every sense of the word, she got me through those hard times. We moved all around. We had to move to Brisbane, where we both learned that city life was not for us, before moving down to the Gold Coast, where we found a renewed love of sunrises. While she definitely brought a smile to everyone's face, hers remained as usual, her resting bitch face. Time passed, and eventually I met someone. This led to a new roommate joining the house, as well as a new cat. Marbles was not happy. After a good few months of bickering, Marbles eventually learned to tolerate the boisterous ways of her new roommate Ham, and just weeks before she passed on, we even caught her reluctantly accepting Ham onto the same chair as her for a bit of a cuddle. It was so cute. Eventually, at the age of 17, life started catching up to Marbles. She was diagnosed with bone cancer in her jaw, which made eating really painful for her. She was put to rest a couple of days later, with her loving parents holding her tight. I felt like she waited until I met someone and saw that I was being looked after, to realise that she didn't have to force herself through this pain. I'm so grateful that we didn't have to make a decision between really expensive treatment and her life. I'm so grateful that she now gets to lie in eternal sunshine, and I'm so grateful for all the adventures she drove me on. Looking for a sign on whether to adopt or rescue an animal, this is it. It might just save both your lives. Rest in peace, my sweet girl Marbles.